So we are back to one of the last shelves. Let's start pulling stuff off. So here are the Star Wars multi-packs. They were a beautiful display setup. Hasbro knew the collectors wanted something that clean, that wonderful, and a great way to sell clone troopers. The thing is, a lot of people kept these things in the box sealed, and that affected the market. So I was picking this stuff up at Target on clearance for about $10 each. This one's a little bit more uncommon. I did like the Felucia Planet the most. It just looks so colorful and unique. I don't know what the market is on this piece. It's probably only worth about $30 or $35. We'll look into it. I've sold off majority of these pieces already, but they still are a fan favorite. And again, you get 4 clone troopers. How can you disagree with that? This one is the most notorious of all the multi-packs. This piece was at Target for, I think they got down to $6 each. I had about 20 of them, and they include not just 2 clone troopers, which I don't remember those guys being in the movie right there for this battle sequence, right? But includes a pod. And a lot of people just want that pod. So I sat on these for a long time, and I was like, these will be pretty good money in the future. Nope. Everybody else sat on these as well. So the pod can run about $8. The troopers about $5 each. Yoda about $4. Emperor about $4. But if I wanted to sell this piece sealed, as in mint, dead stock, I might get $15 for it or less. You let this thing run for a minimum bid of 99 cents on eBay, it'll just sell for 99 cents. There's just that many of these available online, and that's what caused a lot of burnout after episode 3 came out. And a lot of the production numbers for Hasbro Star Wars stuff was dropping after the movies left the theater. So these are much more common, while that stuff got much more difficult to find. I just need to let that stuff go. Let's just put it that way. We have the Micro Machines Death Star. You know, that kid's pretty happy playing with the Death Star, right? I mean, it only has one purpose: to kill. And that kid's like, yeah, I can manage that. Don't worry. I'll make my parents proud. Which planet do you want me to blow up next? So this is right after the special edition came out, and they introduced the Ronto. And the Ronto is supposed to be like this new, exciting thing. So they just added it to the Tatooine scene. And of course, now everyone's like, don't care. You know, we've moved on quite a lot. So this was a wonderful play set. It was the largest one that Galoob had ever produced for the Micro Machines Star Wars sets. And it's intriguing because it was an automatic transforming set. You would just pull the lever back and it would turn into the play set. It was a neat piece. It had unique little styles and stuff. And again, as you'll need to remember, when you're a child, this set is quite large. So it was successful. A lot of kids had fun with it. It's much more uncommon to get now. We have a $40 retail tag on that puppy. And I opened it up. I was not really a kid at that point, but, you know, I was probably like early high school. But still a really fun set. I found out where the toy went, because obviously I played with it. I think these things run about $85 now, probably unused in the original box. There's a little bit of love there for them. The fascinating thing I want to add on top of this is this, the sweepstakes. Yeah. And this was very weird. So this is the sweepstakes from Galoob. You get to win a gold Death Star. Ooh, I mean, what kid doesn't want a gold golf ball pretty much to play with? Like, that's the grand prize. Seriously, what the hell are you thinking, Galoob? The other prizes, let's take a look at them. You get a life-size Han Carbonite to put on your wall. Okay, I mean, that's really cool as an adult. As a kid, I mean, like, it's kind of cool, but, like, what you going to do with it? Are you going to play with it? Are you going to interact with it as though it's like you're missing daddy? Then you get to win a coffee table book about Star Wars. And then you get to win a pen with a TIE fighter on the top of it. I mean, Galoob, stop it. Think. What would be more exciting to a child than a gold golf ball? Oh, I have an idea. How about in honor of the Death Star, we blow stuff up? I think that's a beautiful idea. Let's blow up a plane. Let's blow up a car. No, let's blow up a building. Okay, you Americans, I don't mean it that way. I mean a building that's going to be demolitioned. So you have the kid come down, you have stormtroopers, Darth Vader there, then the kid gets to pull the lever to blow up the building, and then you give a whole pile of Star Wars toys. Now that is what a kid wants to do. Trust me, we all want to do that. That being said, Galoob is just notorious for like making weird sweepstakes. After or before the Death Star, they had a Star Destroyer that was done in gold as a sweepstakes, which is just, again, like, seriously, stop it, guys. And the person who ended up with that piece couldn't sell it because nobody wanted to pay the weight in gold for the Star Destroyer, and he had to melt it down because it was just too much money. I can't blame him, right? I digress. I just think it's fascinating that they sat back and thought this was the best. This is what kids really want. And yet they made a successful toy line for kids that were highly detailed, a lot of action features with them. They're great. And then they completely just far left field when it came to the sweepstakes. I digress. So that's a really fun set. I probably will keep it, but I'm thinking I might let it go. It just depends on how much more of this stuff we get rid of. And then after these videos, there are times I do look back, and I'm just like, that's my personal childhood evac fighter right there. I can't get the evac fighter back in the box. And I'm like, why do I need then an open box without the vehicle when I can just keep the sealed one I have kicking around the house somewhere? So just later on, I'm just like, I don't need that. So that might be one of those. We just need more space. Let's see, we have another lightsaber. Oh my God, they're breeding like bunnies. Once again, it's open. Oh my God. This is the second open Power of the Force 2 Luke lightsaber. So I guess my brother got one and I got one. Great set. They run about $35-40 sealed, and that's it because everybody kept Power of the Force 2. It's not as desired because, again, it's a lightsaber that lights up, which they started reusing that mold over and over and over again. There are people that collect the lightsabers, but there are far and few between. Get rid of it. It's not even worth anything. I just want to get like a whole little lot of empty boxes together and just post them for free. It's like, anybody just pick this stuff up, please. Please, please love the Shining Gundam. Look at that. God damn, hell yeah. I got this for Christmas as a kid. This is the exact one. I think this set came from a place in Chicago called Mitsuwa. And that was a magical, magical store. So in the 90s, this store was importing a lot of Japanese toys. And I went there like when I was like 15. And they had G1 Transformers still sealed in the original box from the 80s. For retail, $20 each, $15. And I was like, that's neat. They had Metal Hawk, who's exclusive. And I was holding the box toy sealed, and I was like, oh my God, I have not seen this Transformer before. This is really, really cool. It's $15. They have like 3 of them. Now I'll just leave it. I'll leave it. They're like $1,500 sealed now. I just look at anything from Mitsuwa, and I'm like, I am so stupid. We have Bajoran Tricorder. So I mentioned earlier, I was heavily into DS9. And I bought lots of the toys, lots of the Bajoran Tricorder, the gun, the runabout, the actual Deep Space Nine. I was into it. And you know what? It is a good show. You can look back and be like, it was a good decision to be involved heavily into that show. Wonderful package artwork. The Bajoran Tricorder and the gun are much, much more difficult to find of the Star Trek pieces. And these used to run about $60 each sealed. And I looked up the gun recently, and it was like $30. There are newer toys that are being made. There are newer cosplay accessories being made. But it was a bit of a surprise watching the market get even less as the stuff is more difficult to find, especially at the toy shows. One of the problems, though, with the Bajoran Tricorder and the gun is the gold plastic. And that gold plastic, it breaks easily. As time marches on, they becomes more and more brittle. And some of that gold plastic is so brittle, you can just crush it in your hand with barely any effort. Great piece, fun loving, not taking up that much space. Here's my runabout Orinoco. Ooh, I got on sale for $15. Killer artwork. I still would love to know where all the Playmates artwork ended up, because it's either at Playmates being preserved or it all went in the dumpster. That's just usually how these things go. And the couple is kept. I mean, most likely the artist, which is work for hire, never retain the artwork. They don't get it back. Sometimes they do get a couple pieces back, but man, I wish I could find some of that stuff. And that piece is somewhere over the rainbow. We'll get it in the box. That'll slide right back in. So this piece, again, a little more uncommon, will probably run about only $30 probably if you still had one sealed. Still a great piece. Fit the action figures, quality plastic, quality details. It lit up. It made sound effects. I mean, what else did you really want more from a toy? It was a perfect representation. But as I mentioned earlier, Star Trek was on the borderline of an adult show versus a kid show. So a lot of these toys were picked up by the adults, kept in package, and that's why the market's so soft, because so much of it is out there and survived, versus, let's say, other toy lines comparatively, let's say, even Superhuman Samurai, Captain Power, G.I. Joes, those are played with. And the kids, they got older, and they just tossed that stuff in the garbage. Mickey D. Wicket. Hi, baby. Yeah. Yeah. So.
I'm sorry, I wasn't watching.
What do you want to do? Did you want to go somewhere?